Hello, hello, everybody. Perfect. Got the head right in the camera there on the first one. That's going to be our photo reference. Let's go to full screen. There we go. Hello, hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to another live stream here. Oh, jeez, look at this. Ads right away. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Who's the person who made the ads go on there? Yeah. Okay. Rough start this morning. Rough start this morning. So we've got a visitor today on the live stream. We've got Truffs back over there. Truffs is chilling out. Had to put my other dog to sleep a couple weeks ago. She was 12 and a half years old, almost 13 years old, a little bit of a brain tumor, which totally sucked. And so Truffs is a little lost, and my wife is away, and that's making matters worse for Truffs because Truffs is really more my wife's dog, and Chloe, who we put down, was more my dog, meaning I just spent more time with Chloe, and my wife spent more time with Truffs, and Truffs follows my wife's wife around way more than me. So she's chilling out with us today. And so, what's today's live stream all about? After we got off to a little bit of a rough start, it's going to be about drawing a portrait. And let me just yeah. Okay. So, my goodness gracious, a couple questions I got from last week's live stream was, why did you start with the eyes? Why didn't you do the Loomis method? Why aren't you starting with the edge? Why aren't you doing structure? And I'm for all techniques. If you like the Loomis technique, great. If you like to start with the angles, aka Anthony Ryder, great. I still do that. I love that. Sometimes I just like to start in the center. It just makes a little bit more sense to me. You know, I've been doing this for so many years, and I've kind of boiled portrait drawing down to you're basically just drawing shapes and comparing the size of those shapes. And then within those shapes, you are matching the values that you see. And there's more to it than that, but that's the ultra simplified version of portrait drawing is you're just drawing shapes. And whether you're going to start on the edge of the head or in the center of the head, it doesn't matter. What matters is that each portrait, whether it's you're drawing it from life or you're drawing it from a photo, is going to present a new set of things to conquer, a new set of challenges for you. So, what's going to be the best technique for that portrait? And for me, with techniques, one size does not fit all. Is a myriad of drawing techniques for drawing a portrait, and one size does not fit all. Portrait references. And the other thing is, you've got to be, we're going to get the drawing here in a second. I know you're like, oh God, could you please start drawing? I don't want to hear you talking so much. But this is extremely important information. And the idea is that you do not want to limit yourself to one technique and just rely on that technique as a crutch. You want to be able to kind of switch back and forth like, this drawing, I'm going to do the angles. This drawing, I'm going to start with drawing the hair. This drawing, I want to start drawing this portrait drawing from the eye. And I think you're just going to be better at drawing anything when you bounce back and forth from all these different techniques, and then you don't rely on one technique. So I'll tell you a quick little story, and then we'll get to warming up, and then we'll get to drawing this portrait. Just kind of stalling a little bit. If you want to say hello, say hello. If you have any questions, ask them in the chat. The last thing I can say here is years ago, I got to be careful what I say here because I respect a lot of people. Let's just say this, and I'll use myself as an example. Years ago, I only drew one way, and it was with tone. And I had to use light and shadow, and it had to be form light. And if the light wasn't there, and there was no form light, and let's say the fluorescents were on in the classroom, I couldn't draw the model. Like I struggled. I'm like, oh my God, like where are the shadow shapes? And that was what I now call a crutch. So I've learned that I should be able to draw with no light and shade. I should be able to draw with the fluorescence on. I should be able to draw with form light. I should be able to draw with all these different lighting situations. And you just become more confident in your skill set when you're able to kind of not rely on everything being so perfect to draw. I did that for many, many years, and yeah, that's not good. Okay, so yeah, drawing. I guess I'm in a talkative mood today, and please wait while. Okay, all right, got you. All right, scrap piece of paper. We're gonna do like a little bit of warm up, and I'm gonna switch to. My other camera here momentarily. Now, if you are looking for the photo reference and you want to draw along with me, go to my channel and go to posts, and you'll see the photo reference right there. Okay, awesome sauce. Wow, we got 11 watching. Awesome. I appreciate you joining me here today. That is really cool. I know it's kind of early for a lot of people to watch, and let me switch cameras. Let's go here. Cool. Okay. Now, when drawing a portrait, I think it's ginormously important that you always incorporate the shoulders. If you don't incorporate the shoulders, the portrait is gonna the head's gonna feel like it's floating, and you need those shoulders actually to compare things to. And in the reference that you see on my video, it's set up where we're barely seeing any shoulders. And I just did that because I want you to see as much of the face as possible. But there's more shoulders on the reference in the posts on my channel page. Okay, so warming up. Now, today I'm going to use my trusty Col-Erase pencil. Okay. And last week I drew with this Blackwing, which I'm starting to like more and more. And I get it. There's a lot of different Blackwings, and I've got to go to the art supply store and buy a bunch of different ones and experiment with them. But I enjoy this. But since this model has very light hair and very light skin, and I don't want to fuss, like I got to admit, like with the Blackwing, it takes a little effort. Well, look, I'm barely pressing down hard, and it takes a lot of effort to not press down hard. So that's as light as I'm going to get it today with my touch with this Blackwing. And that's pretty light, but it takes a lot of effort. Okay, it doesn't take effort to press down hard, and that's what I like about this pencil, especially when I'm doing demonstrations. But you know, the Col-Erase is my go-to. And it's so easy to go lighter. Yeah, I like this. I like this better. I've been drawing with the Col-Erase since like 2001. Yeah, a student gave it to me. And I was drawing with my ebony pencil, and a student gave me the Col-Erase. And they're like, try this. And I think the student's name was Garrett. And I am so thankful to Garrett, even though they don't make the black Col-Erase and sell it separately anymore, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I've been using it since 2000, I think, or 2001, maybe 2002. Let's just say 23, 24 years I've been using this pencil. Now, I could also say that I've been overusing it, and I should have experimented with some other pencils. And so, okay, a little bit more with the warm-up. Now, let me just talk to you about one thing before I start this portrait drawing. And if anyone wants to say in the chat, is the sound good? Can you hear me okay? Can you see everything okay? That would be really helpful. Okay, so sometimes when I'm drawing, I really, really like to start with angles. But in this particular case, the angles would be the eye and the eye lashes and the tear duct area, and then the half circle for the eye. And then what I like to do is I really immediately like to come on in and put in a shape of shadow. And I teach this all the time, that, and sometimes it's better. Actually, oh, here we go. Okay, sounds good. Yes, the sound is good. I can hear you from Tampa, Florida. Awesome. Burnt. I'm not going to try that one. Awesome. And so immediately with this eye, I've got, you know, I could have been a little bit more abstract with it, but I've got this, and that is a shape. And I like starting with a shape like that. And then what you do is you say, oh, okay, what's the next shape? And I'm going to say, oh, the hair is here. And what's the next shape? Oh, the nose begins here. So then I would start to do the next shape. And so, in essence, I've taught this technique many, many times. I've taught it on YouTube before. I've got it on my website. I've got a whole course around it. And basically, what this is it's called spiraling out from the center. And I love to draw that way. I love to draw that way. Now, how did I find that? I remember my good friend back in the college days, Dorian, said to me, we were talking and we were talking about Ang, the artist, Ingres. Like, yeah, he starts his portraits from the center of the eye. And like, we were both 20 years old and we're like, oh, that's so cool. We got to start a portrait from the eye. And it was that's how I kind of started to do that. And I think it's an area that you can just control because it's a small area. Now, the other way that you start a portrait is with the edge and with these angles. So you would be like, oh, okay, the hair, it angles down, and then it angles this way, and then it angles this way. And then, oh, okay, so there's the neck over here, and the neck over here, and then there's the angle of the shoulder, I think, and the angle of that shoulder, and then next step would be that, yeah, okay, let me lift this piece of paper up a little bit. Bear with me, people. Okay, cool, sorry about that. And you just start with the angles, and then what you do is you do the angles on the inside, and you kind of draw the shape of the model's hair, and you would do something like this, and I'm all for this. It's one of my favorite techniques, and I draw many portraits this way. And so you do that, and you go through it the first time, and you just chill with it for a little while, and you measure, and then the next step for me is big time. If there's shadow on the photo or shadow on the model in the classroom, I'm going to shade the shadow side of the face, and I'm going to blend that right into the shadow side of the neck and into the shadow side of the model's hair. Okay, so that is a very, very, very different way to start a portrait. Now, people like to have, what's the word that I'm looking for? I guess let's just use the word clarity. And they like to have repetition. I know I like repetition. And so people like to start portraits the same way every time. And I'm cool with that. That's how you become an expert at doing something. You keep doing it over and over and over again. But I think it's good to back up a little bit and say, okay, how else would I start this? And what's a better way for me to start this portrait drawing? And do I always need to start the same? Am I getting stale? Do I need to switch it up a little bit? Like, would it be good if I switch things up? And so there's pros and cons to both. Absolutely, there are. The bottom one is a little bit easier if you have your piece of paper. And let me lift this up one more time. Bear with me, people. Okay, I'm just going to fold that over. Cool. And yeah. So you can be like, oh, okay, this is my sheet of paper, and I'm going to place the portrait here. And this first angle that you do, you look at the distance to the edge of your piece of paper. Do you have enough room? You place the top, and you place the shoulders, and like, do I have enough room? Is it fit in on the sheet of paper? And I think it's like a little bit easier to do that when you are going with that technique. This technique's a little bit harder. The antidote is that you just use a bigger piece of paper, and then you can cut the paper after and set up the frame. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. If you have any questions, and yeah, the thumbnail to do first is awesome. Thumbnail, absolutely. All right, I'm just going to grab a little coffee here before we get started. Now, I don't even know how I'm going to start this one. I don't know if I want to start with the angles or I want to start with the eye. And let me just get my trusty grayscale that I cut in half, and I want to put this down so my camera can just... hey, Phoenix, good to see you. It would be nice if I could grab some tape here and put this down. Okay, because my camera likes to see dark values on white paper. And my next little step is going to be finding the edge of my piece of paper, or what I should say, the screen. So right about there, and I've got to about here, and I've got to about here. Okay, that's kind of small, but I can always zoom in, zoom out. Now, how do I want to start this drawing? I don't know. I don't know how I want to start this drawing. Um, her face is so symmetrical. I could start with the eyebrow and draw that shape, but I think today I want to do the shape of the face. I'm sorry, shape of hair versus shape of face. And so what I'm going to do here is, okay, we got that right there. That's cool. And I can just go for it. So I'm going to say, this model has such a definitive like hair shape. So again, like I could start with her left eye, and that would be legit, and that would be pretty good. But I'm seeing it a little bit clearer this way. So now, well, hopefully we'll see how this drawing comes out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, now this part of her hair angles in. Now, if that's the bottom of my video monitor right now, do I have enough room for the chin if this is the angle of that hair and it kind of curves up a little bit in the back? Yeah, I do. I do. That's cool. So next I'm going to angle down. And this is now, I'm using the angles. Now, I wouldn't call this the Loomis. Like, to tell you the truth, I don't think I've ever drawn the Loomis method. Never. I never have. I've looked at, I love Loomis. I do. I've got all of his books, like, in photocopy, in binders, and they're really cool. I haven't looked at them in years, but they're awesome. But I've never done the Loomis portrait thing, and I'm not knocking it. I think if that's what you like, use it. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm trying to find the part of this model's hair, and I'm trying to get this strand of hair that will give me the width of this. I think it's a little wider than what I've done there, and so I'm gonna just get also that part of this model's hair. And I'm being very gestural right now. Now, this part of our model's hair comes down. Where did I get the photo? I purchased this photo, the YouTube license of it, which is a little bit more expensive. I purchased it from a website called Graphit, Grafit Studio. I think they're a phenomenal resource because you can buy lots of really good photo reference for not a lot of money. And yeah, their photo packs are flippin' phenomenal. I love them a lot. When I first started shopping there, I didn't like them because I felt like every single photo they had, they always use multiple light sources, which I'm not a big fan of. And so they started doing more photo packs with one light source on the model. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. I can get into this. So, all right, where are we? Let me talk about this. Let me get a little coffee here before it gets cold. So, in essence, I think it's really, really important for you to draw shape of hair, shape of face, shape of the hair in proportion to the shape of the face. Could I have started with the eye? Absolutely. But this is more of a tried and true portrait drawing technique. Let me look at these comments for a second. Benny, I have more trouble blocking than just doing it naturally the way I've always drawn. Is blocking the way to help me get more accurate? The way that you get more accurate, let me go back to my little warm-up thing here. Accuracy, there should be no mystery with accuracy. It should be really, really simple. And what do I mean by that? It's just you keep comparing widths and heights, and you say, oh, okay, if this is the edge of the model's hair, what's right below it? If this is where the hair is coming on down, what's right across from that? And if this is where the light meets the shadow on the bridge of the nose, how wide is that side of the face compared to how wide is that side of the face? That's how you conquer the accuracy issue. It's by constantly thinking and being more conscious about these measurements and comparing them. Now, is that the way you want to draw all the time? No, but that's the way that you deal with your measurements. Okay, so let me go a little bit faster here because I'm talking way too much. And when you talk too much and you don't let the drawing happen intuitively, you lose your proportions. And so I'm gonna not get everything feels a little too wide for me right now. The face. And so I'm going to go a little longer with that. So what I'm trying to do now is figure out the width of the face in relationship to the width of the hair. And so the other thing with these measurements and proportions is the more you do, the better you get. It really is. Repetition is the mother of skill. And there's the drawers. I don't know, is that a word? There is the drawers, the artist. Let's say artist. I like that better. The drafts person, I don't know, mindset, where I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about with mindset. So years and years ago, when I was a student at the School of Visual Arts back in the late 80s, oh boy, I just aged myself, I would leave school, I'd walk to Penn Station, and I'd be looking at things around me, like the sidewalk, buildings, and like what colors would I use? Like what paint would I mix to get that texture? Like what color would I paint? Like I'd be on the train and I'd be going home and I'm like, oh my God, look at that rusty locomotive. What colors would I mix to paint that? And so that's the artist's mindset, where you're always thinking about things in relationship to your art. And then summer would come, and when I was in my teens, early 20s, I wouldn't do anything in the summer. I would hang out with my friends, and so I lost the artist's mindset, and I would never think about colors and drawing. So the more you do, the more this is in the forefront of your brain, and yeah, artist mindset. Okay. Yeah, you can call it triangulation. Every teacher, every artist has different terms for what they like to teach and how they like to draw. For me, it's called angles and measurements. So what am I talking about? This is an angle. Is that angle of the model's head a 45-degree angle? Maybe. That is an angle. Is that angle of the model's hair perfectly vertical? Maybe. I haven't studied it enough. So those are angles, and measurements are, okay, if this is the bottom of the bangs of this model's hair, how long from here to the chin? And compare that to from here to the top of the hair. What is longer? Now, okay, it takes a while to be able to do that, and you know, I'm looking and I'm like, I still need a lot of work with figuring this out today. Maybe it can be like a little bit shorter. And what am I doing right now? I'm pretty much just working with an outline. And outlines are really, really hard to do this sort of thing. Like it's hard to draw with just outlines. So what I've also learned is don't stay in this outline mode for too long. You know, go and start to put some shapes down, because the shapes, your brain might work better with shapes and not just with outlines. And so for some of you, like, you might be waiting way too long to use shapes, and that's not a good thing. Like, you want to put shapes in sooner rather than later. Okay, now let me resharpen the pencil here. Cool. How many people we got watching this thing here today? 23. I'll take it. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Now, okay, I'm doing a lot of talking, a little less drawing, but at this point in the game, you've got to, I've got to draw the other side of her hair. You've got to just lean back. So I see more when I look at the drawing on my video. I'm looking at my other camera over there. Sorry for looking at the side of my head here. Yeah, I like to look at it on the video monitor and YouTube so I can see what's right, what's not right. And right now the face is a little wide and the hair isn't angled at the top. So I need to lift this up ever so slightly. Okay, and that will make the whole head feel a little bit taller. And then what I also need to do is I need to get this side of the hair because this will help me with the negative space from the hair to the shoulder. Okie dokie. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Cool. Okay, now I'm pretty much just drawing the edges of things. So it's time to move into the center of the drawing. Now, what are you going to draw in the center of the drawing? Well, I think it would be really good to find the line that separates the light side of this model's face head from the shadow side. So I'm going to start at the hair cast shadow on the forehead, and then I'm going to come on down to the brow. Now, when I'm drawing the brow, I'm looking at heights and I'm looking at the chin. And I still feel my proportions are not there, but I don't have enough information down on the paper to start judging, so I just need to draw more. Okay, so side of the nose, side plane, under plane of the nose. Now I need to look at the bottom of the nose, the line that separates the light from the shadow, and then look at the chin because I don't want to make the nose too short. And if that's the chin, the bottom of the nose is not that far away because this gal really has like a model's face. Model's face having a really, really super duper short chin. And so now I'm just going to keep on trucking here with my line that separates. Now, I'm not drawing facial features. I am drawing shadow shapes. So I'm looking for my line that separates the light from the shadow, and now we go under the lip, and then it comes up, and then it goes on the chin, and then it goes to the underbelly of the chin. And so that could be my first go through. And now I can start to just give myself my first shape on the shadow side of the face. Very light pressure with the Col-Erase. I'm not committing yet. And so you're kind of almost going a little Andy Warhol-ish here. Now, you don't want to have separation between the face and the neck. That wouldn't be cool. You want the face and the neck to kind of flow together. This goes around the trapezius. And I am now going to do the same thing over here. I'm blending up. And just think of the face and the neck as one shape. And then I'm going to blend up here into the side of our model's hair. Over here, this is all shadow. And the light's coming from the right side a little bit more so. So the left side of the model's head is going to be a little bit more in shadow. Now, okay, cool. And see, now I'm starting to see my proportions a little bit better, and I need to start working on my tilts to get the tilt of the model's head, which I haven't done that yet. So I'm still blocking in shadow shapes. Shadow. Now, the other cool thing about starting with the eye is it's such a small area that you can just draw that eye and spend some time on it and build up your confidence. And that's another advantage to drawing from the eye out. Okay, let me get another little swig of this coffee before it really gets cold. And let me just look at the comments here for a moment. So I get more accurate when I draw arm's length away from my paper. Yep. Absolutely. Agreed. And the other thing with that is just you want to, I like to get up off of my chair every 20 minutes. I don't do that all the time on the live stream, but I'm going to probably get up in a little while. Now, I need to start thinking about tilts because this looks straight up and down. And the vibe I'm getting is everything kind of looks level, and it's not. She's tilted. So now what I'm going to do is this is so light on the paper, and Yeah, it could be erased very, very easily. And I like that. So the mistakes that I've made as I'm fleshing this out, I can now start to press down a little bit harder and concentrate on one little area of the drawing. So I'm going to go to the cheekbone and get this tilt and get the jawbone tilting. So I'm committing a little bit here to pressing down a little bit harder. And I want to come over here and just get this little shadow. It's a little too low right now. Well, maybe not. And there's a little shadow on the side of the forehead that the hair is casting, and then this rolls into the eye. And so, okay, let's place this model's eyebrow. Now, she's looking down a little bit. So from the eyebrow to the chin should be a little bit shorter than from the eyebrow to the top of the hair. And this eyebrow is, I'm Brazilian and I'm learning a lot from you. I wanted to join your school one day. Absolutely. I appreciate you joining me here today. That would be cool. That is very cool that you're joining the live stream. I thank you so much. So let's do the eyebrow, and it's got angles. It's not round. And you look at the edge of the eyebrow to the edge of the face, and then we look at the inside of the eye socket, the bridge of the nose. And so I've got to be careful here because, if you're trying to be, you can be overly perfect with all of this, and then things go wrong really fast. And sometimes you just got to draw, and don't be afraid of making a mistake. Just kind of sketch it in. And so right now, what I'm attempting to do is I'm attempting to draw a shadow shape around the eyelid. And this is a cool way to place this eye, and then this model's lashes. She's got pretty big eyes. And I'm not drawing the eyes because right now I'm just drawing this as like a shadow shape. So we've got the tear duct. Today's our first hot day, really, here on Long Island in New York, and I can feel that it's a little hot right now in here. So first go through with the eye and the eyebrow placement. Now, that feels too small, but I'm not going to judge just yet. Too early to judge. It's a start. You've got to start somewhere, right? So I'm going to move that over and eyebrow a little bit higher. And let's go to the other brow, which is angled up a lot. And so bridge of the nose, and then it angles in, and then the outside of the nose right there. So I want to come back here and just concentrate on this area. So cheekbone, jawbone, jaw, chin. Don't go so hard with the chin. Now, with the other eye, I want to put in some shape. So we're shadow, shadow. Now there should be an angle, so I'm going to just do the other eye. Look at this eye. How far away is it from the edge of the head? Not that the edge of the head is placed properly just yet. The edge of the cheekbone, I should say. And I'm just going to try to place that eye. And that's a hard eye. That's a hard eye. And lid. Squint at it. And brow. So right now it looks a little weird. It looks a little crooked. So at this point in the game, you can be like, "Oh God, I suck. This is not going out. I should start all over again." And this is where you've got to stick with the drawing. I don't know how this is going to come out. I hope it comes out good. That's the goal. Now everything is tilted. Tilt, 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 and the cheekbones tilt and the jawbone tilt. So that means that this cheekbone should be higher than this one, and the jawbone needs to be angled as well. Okay, that's all right. Let's keep going. And not loving it right now, but this is when you got to stick with things. I'm going to move this in, and cheekbone. Let me look at these comments. Benny, originally from Brooklyn and Manhattan, Lower East Side. Most of my life, I used to be a mailman in Midtown. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the School of Visual Arts is when I teach there in the fall and the spring. I have a summer class too in July. It's on my building that I teach in is 21st Street between 6th and 7th. So I love it. It's so much fun to teach there. I love the students. So many talented students there. Pretty cool. Now I'm gonna switch gears, people. For years and years and years, I said, don't use a blend and stump. Don't use a blend and stump. Don't use a blend and stump. They're no good. They make your drawings look too soft. And I've changed my mind. I like using the blend and stump now because it helps me speed up the tone thing a lot. And the thing with the blend and stump that you've got to really now the character of this model really is her lips, and her lips are very big, and so I don't have the lips in yet, so I think I need to work on the lips just a little bit, and her nose is much lower, and the lips are tilted, so you get the corner of the lip bottom. Let's get Yeah, okay, I got you now. I got you. So this is upper lip, center. This side is lower, curves up. Get that upper lip first. Okay, and it curves up and angle up. The lips are a whole series of angles. So now I'm going to go a little darker and edge, and I'm going to do the cast shadow on the lower lip. Cool. And now there's a cast shadow on the chin under the lower lip. So that just helped a lot for me to see proportions. And there's a little tone over here. Okay, that just helped a lot. And notice I'm going very light. So I'm going to shade this side and blend it the same as the skin tone. Get that shape in. And that angles up. All right, good, 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 good. Let me look at the chat here for a second. Yep, absolutely. So just using the blend and stump to get in a base of tone a little bit quicker. And for me, how I like to use it is I like to use it to push this Col-Erase pencil into the tooth of the paper. But I'm going to start off, actually I'm going to start off with a brush first. Okay, so I'm going to use my big brush, and I'm just going to push and create like a nice soft atmospheric tonal feel to this sketch. Absolutely. Now, you don't want to overdo this, but when you do something like this, it's so easy to erase everything out. It's awesome. Absolutely. And so now we've got like a soft ghost-like impression of this model's face. And if I want, sure, I could take the blend in stump and I could push a little bit. I think it's kind of like a little bit too soon for me to be using the blend in stump, but I'm just going to go for it to kind of try to speed this along a little bit because I'm taking a long time to do this for whatever reason. It's just a hard portrait to draw. So I'm going to get the shape of the model's lips, that under the lip, under the chin. Let's, could this eye be higher? Well, the only way I'm going to find out if it needs to be higher is to make it a little bit more resolved. And shadow over here. Am I a former Disney animator? I am not I am not a former Disney animator. So I'll tell you a little story about that. So years ago in the late 80s when I was a student at SVA, Disney came to visit the college like they always do to recruit students. And I really, I think I went and I met with them. I don't even really remember. And I had made the decision that I really wanted to do oil painting and I really wanted to be an illustrator. And I had no desire to move down to Florida when I was younger. I liked where I lived. I had a close relationship with my parents. I really enjoyed going to SVA. I couldn't see myself moving down to Florida to work at a company. I wasn't mature enough to do something like that at the time. It wasn't what I wanted to do. And I was on such a mission to become an illustrator and master the art of oil painting. And so I basically illustrated book covers for 18, 19 years, illustrated books. And that was pretty much my career. And then when I got sick and tired of doing that with deadlines, I started drawingtutorialsonline.com and kind of created my own deadlines and my own little school. So that was a quick synopsis of my little journey. The funny thing is that I teach in the animation department now, and I teach the animation students how to draw gestures and how to draw fast and how to draw slow. And I also teach them how to draw backgrounds with proper perspective. And I love that. All right. Okay, it's time to push now, and it's time to make this thing happen. And I don't think I have anything right. Nothing's right on this drawing. Nothing's right. Yeah, no, nothing is right. Let's start again. Let me start with the model's eyebrow. Just now cling on to one area and just try to work it so it's a little bit more resolved and you like it a little bit more. So spend a little bit more time now in one little area. And yes, so she's got pretty big eyelids, pretty big eyes for her. So I've got to try to capture that a little bit. And now this is the shadow side of the eyelid. This is the tear duct. And I'm measuring the tear duct from the tear duct to the top of the eyebrow. And then I can get the lid lash line. And it really angles up there. And then from the tear duct, there's a little bit of a cast shadow on the lower eyelid. So we can't even see the eye, and it's hard to see anything in there. So what I'm doing is I'm just treating all of that like a shape. And I can throw in one or two like little lashes just for fun. But right now, what I'm really just trying to do is get in the proper shapes. And okay, so now look at the width from the eye to the cheekbone, and that cheekbone's much lower. Okay, cool. And angle of the jaw. I'm committing a little bit more now and pressing down harder. And still not there with the likeness. Like I usually get the likeness by now, but you know this drawing's gonna fight me today, and that's okay. I'll enjoy the process. A little hair over here, and then this is character that kind of goes that a ways. And more power with the model's eyebrow. And more power with darkness here. And a couple of more lashes. Okay, so now let's do nose area. Brow bone just has a little underplane shadow there. And we're coming on down. And let's get the shadow under the nose. I'm not drawing nostrils. I'm drawing shadow over here. And it's actually not that dark. The area around the nose is actually darker, which is weird, but that's what I see. Side plane of the nose. And let's get this eyebrow tilted up. And I'm going to go back to this model's lips here for a moment. Ooh, this one's hard. This one's hard. So I'm gonna keep pushing this thing. I gotta conquer this drawing here. And the lip curves up. Okay, and these lips are tilted. Good. And yes. Okay, that's better. And let's get the angles of where the two lips touch. And so this is a little closer to the jawbone. And awesome. Okay. And a little shadow over here. And let me just shade this upper lip more. Good. And now the lower lip. Be a little bit more powerful with that. And the lips are the character. Totally. Totally. Shadow side or cast shadow on the lower lip. And then once again, revisiting the shadow on the top plane of the chin. So it almost feels, now that I'm looking at this photo, the photographer must have used a reflector board underneath the model's face to reflect and bounce some light into the underplanes of her face. Now, after further observation, it could also be the model's chest is catching so much light that it's bouncing into the underplane of the chin, and that could be causing that light coming from below. Okay, now this, we need to get this angle. Okay, and right over here I'm going to say is the bottom of the chin. It's a tough call right there. And let's keep going. Let's get this cheekbone rolls in. It's very faint, but it's rolling in, and that cheekbone is higher than that one. And let's just go for the placement of the eye. So that's, you just want to suggest with a rectangle, and we've got the tilt. Get in the corners of the lips. And so that's the rectangle of that model's eye. And then there's lashes. And then we need to get the tear duct, the inside area, and it's higher than the other tear duct because of the tilt. Okay. And now a couple of lines that wrap around the lower eyelid. I don't like to put a lot of lines on the lower eyelid of a model. Less is best for me. That's just my philosophy. You don't need to do that, but I like less there. So back to the edge. And how far away is the edge of the eye to the edge of that cheekbone? That's the question. So, all right, cool. And now I'm going to just add more tone. More tone. And I think next I'm going to blend next again, but before I do, I want to come back and work on this hair. Let me just get the mono zero and okay, so we've got this strand of hair. Let's get some character strokes in now. Curve in. And where is the bottom of the ear where her earring is? It's higher than her nose. And let's just angle up with the ear. And just suggest right now, the ears are a little out of focus in this photo. So I don't want to give them too much attention just yet. I just want to suggest like a placement. And where is the part? Like it's above this part of the model's eye. And that strand of hair right there. Okay. Loop up. Loop up. I'm going to draw a little bit there with the eraser. And I think I might have this a little bit too wide. Yes. Before I start to adjust that, let me just get more in the center. So now I'm adjusting my edge, coming in just a little bit. Totally. And then look at the negative space from the bottom of the hair to the top of the shoulder. And this shoulder is higher. And yes, okay. And this is really good practice. Now there's the tilt of the ear. So this bottom of the ear should be higher than that one. So you've got to get the tilts correct. Little gesture line right over there. And I'm going to lower the hair. And lower this side. Better. Okay. So I'm going to just erase out some of my lines here. Okay. And I'm going to stand up. So I've been at this for an hour sitting down. I just want to stand up for a second. But before I do, I'm just going to get a little drink of water. So I need to reset my eyes because I've been staring at this now for way too long. And yeah, let me just stand up for a second. And I'll be right back. I just want to do a little stretching. I'm just looking at my drawing from far away. It's really good that you stand up and you look at your drawing from far away for a moment. Okay, so there are just times where you start the drawing, you're like, oh, you find the photo reference, you connect with the photo reference, and then, oh, I can do this. This is going to come out pretty good. And then you start to draw it, and life happens. Life could be that maybe you're not feeling it that day. Life could be that maybe you haven't been practicing enough, and so you're fighting the pencil. And so that's what I mean by like life could be, and all these things come into play. But if you just stick with it, like I'm going to stick with this, and I'm going to really fight with it and try to make this thing happen. Um, that's when you get better, and that's just called really 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 good practice. And you can't like give up too soon with the drawing. Like you really got to spend time with it. Now, a lot of this also has to do with your style and what you enjoy doing. I enjoy doing the long drawings. Absolutely, I do. So I don't like have a problem spending time with it. Now today, I'm not making up excuses because I'm gonna fight this drawing and I'm gonna make it happen. But I gotta say, I feel like shit today. I don't know if it's the allergies, the barometric pressure, but I feel like shit. But it's good. So if you want to do this professionally, some of you do this for a hobby. If you feel like shit and you have a deadline with like your best client, it doesn't matter that you feel like shit. You still need to sit down and work. And I've been through many, many of those situations. And I wanted to do the live stream today, but before I started the live stream, I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? Like, it was raining last night, and like, my shoulder's killing me. And I'm like, okay, Matt, you're doing the live stream today. You're going to like suffer through and you're going to fight the man and you're going to make it happen. So now, all right, listen. I'm going to work with my eraser a little bit and I'm going to chisel out some areas. Let's get the nose, the light on the front plane of our model's nose. I'm going to raise up the model's eye, lashes. Better, better. And cheekbones catching a lot of light. A little light on that ear. A little is the key word. Brow bone light. And okay, we're getting somewhere, people. We are getting somewhere. I'm going to do a little light on the bottom of the lip. And let's frame out the bottom of that nose, ball at the tip of the nose. So I want to get the character of this strand of hair coming into the eye socket. Okay, and some erasing over here. So that just helped a lot. Now I don't need to erase over here because I could keep this area soft and let the model's hair blend, but I'm still fighting the proportions. I really am. No doubt, no doubt, I am fighting proportions. So that's why I'm erasing all this. It's better if I don't erase because then what that does is it creates like a soft edge, like a nice environment. But yeah, since I'm not able to capture the likeness easy today, I want to erase some of this so I can get more of a definitive edge. Better. Much better. Much better. Okay. So now, oh, it's okay that you joined late. I'm going to be doing this for a while here. I'm committing, and I'm committing to trying to get this portrait. This one's fighting me. Now, okay, so you see what I'm doing? I keep repeating the same thing. This one's fighting me. This one's fighting me. This one's fighting me. If I keep saying that, it's going to fight me some more. So you have to really be, I'm just sharpening my eraser. You have to be extremely conscious of the language that you say to yourself, how you talk to yourself when you are drawing, and when you are painting, because sometimes you got to be careful a little bit. Not trying to be Tony Robbins, but you got to be careful a little bit with negativity, and sometimes this stuff becomes spam risk, becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you don't want to keep doing like what I'm doing, where I'm saying, oh, this is fighting me, this is fighting me, and you say that over and over and over again, and then you're struggling, and that's not a good thing. That's definitely not a good thing. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this out. I really like this shape above the model's lips because it really creates definition. So I'm just drawing more with the eraser. A little bit lower there. How far? Okay, this model's chin is short. Okay, that just helped. Whatever I just did there, wow, that just helped. I think I have her eyelid too big, and I also think that I need to get rid of the pure white paper on her eyelid because it's too light. And I'm going to raise this up. And there's the shadow side. And I'm going to knock that down a value. Better. Okay, time to resharpen. Mindset is everything, absolutely. Okay, back to the drawing board here. So the shadow under the eyebrow. This is all shadow, and then it comes down a little bit like that. And this, I'm going to raise it. Cool. And better. Okay. Tear duct, and cool. And let me get the placement of this nose a little bit better. So I'm looking at this to the nose. And don't draw the nostrils so dark. Just get this as a shadow shape. Back to the lip. And there's angles here. Cool. And so see what I'm doing? I'm just slowly slogging through this. Slogging is just the funniest word. Slogging through it. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I've been drawing less than an hour. Less than an hour. So that's not a lot of time at all. So I think I've made some pretty decent progress in an hour. Okay, back to the lip value. I'm just trying to match the value. Don't go so dark, and don't use a straight line when you are drawing the separation of the upper lip from the lower lip. Like, there's so many angles where the upper lip touches the lower lip. It's not even funny. Okay, a little shadow over here. And under the chin, there's that reflected light, and it makes it a little bit harder to draw. Absolutely, it does. And curve around with your pencil strokes around the throat. Okay, good, good, good. And I'm going to go a little bit more sharp with that lip. Awesome. Okay, slowly but surely. Now, the other nostril, let me suggest it, but actually, no, let me not. Let me get the tone around the nose. It's a little darker. You don't want to go too dark near the nose. I'm seeing shadows, and I'm trying to match those values because I think it would help me with the likeness. But at the same time, when I'm drawing a female like this is my rule. It does not need to be your rule. But from painting book covers all those years, I never really went to contrasting your like the nose under the nose on a female model. I didn't want to have any weird appearances under the nose of like going too dark. And this nose is kind of like a little hard to draw because the earrings kind of throwing me. The nose ring is throwing me for a little bit of a loop. It's making it a little bit confusing to see what the hell's going on. Um, but it looks cool. It definitely looks cool. Uh, okay, so now let's see. I don't like the face. It's not that symmetrical, so I'm going to work on the edge. And I think this could come down a little bit more so. Back to the mono zero. This part of her jaw is very light. Okay, better, better. And okay, I think now what I really need to do is work on her other eye. Um, so eyebrow. Yes. And tear duct to tear duct now. So if this is the bridge of the nose shadow, and this is the tear duct. The other tear duct, how far away is that? This is no joke, this eye. It's hard because it's in the shadow. And whenever you draw things in the shadow like this, there's no, like this eye has a little bit more light and shade. So it's a little bit easier to see shapes, but it's harder to see shapes in the shadow like this. So my philosophy is I'm going to do a little bit of the idea of less is best. Less is best. Absolutely. Um, we have some dark over here. And the whole thing needs to be darker. And I have the white of the eye too white. Um, okay. So let me go darker with this because there's the Rembrandt triangle on her face of light. Hi, Elizabeth. I welcome to the live stream. I'm like I forgot I was on a live stream. I'm kind of just feel like I'm sitting in my office talking to myself and fighting through this drawing here. But thank you for saying hello. I appreciate that. And it's sunny here on Eastern Long Island as well, thankfully. The last couple days it's been raining and it's I we need the rain, absolutely we need the rain, but it's nice when it's sunny. Also, it's just a mood lifter. So just going a little bit darker over here. little bit more tone over here. And yes. Um, I'm just looking at the edge of the model's hair again. It's not dark, but I'm using some dark just to kind of outline a little bit. I think I need to go and work a little bit now on the hair as I work on the chin. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. I like the way that you spell your name with the S. My sister's name is with the Z, Elizabeth and Elizabeth. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's neat how you have the S in there. I know that's definitely a Netherlands thing, right? Absolutely. Yeah, cheerleading, absolutely, absolutely. It's important, and I talk to my students all the time in the classroom when they're drawing, and I'm just reminding them of the techniques that they should be using. We play music in the classroom, and that is awesome. And I create a classroom playlist on Spotify, and I don't always love the music. And this is the last few years I've been doing this. I've always just kind of played whatever I wanted to, but lately I've been letting the students pick, and man, some of the songs I just didn't like at all. But I'm like, Matt, it's you got to have a community here. It can't just be your music, Matt. So yeah, it's funny. I have some music playing very lightly in the background, and sometimes YouTube picks it up, and then I have to share. I don't get a lot for whatever reason. I don't get a ton of revenue from ads or anything like that on YouTube. Um, and so it was funny. I was sharing my revenue with an artist. I forgot who they were. I think it was, it might have been Lana Del Rey or something. I don't, I'm like, Lana Del Rey does not need my revenue. It was so funny. Okay, so pointing down here, a little darker. I'm going to go darker on this whole eye socket. Okay, okay, let's go darker here. It's a very soft shadow. It ends at the collarbone. Maybe over here I'm going to do a little bit of background tone. And then we have the strap that wraps in. Okay. Now, at risk of ruining everything, I'm going to go back into this drawing with the brush. Yeah, well, you can skip the ads, right? You should be able to skip the ads. Absolutely. Uh, am I a professor? Well, the first thing that I tell my students when they're in my classroom is don't call me a professor. I really like the title of instructor. Much better than professor. Like when I think of professor, I think of like somebody at MIT or, one of those types of schools. So I really like instructor. So yes, I am a teacher, instructor at the School of Visual Arts, and it's college. So I guess when you're in college, they call teachers professors. But that's like I said, that word just seems way too important for me. I like simple, and simple is teacher. But you can call me professor. That's cool. Yeah, skip that ad. Skip that ad. That's cool. Yeah. I have multiple YouTube accounts, and I've got one that has nothing to do with this account, and it's my premium account. So I watch things that I'm into, with no commercials. And but yeah, so I switch back and forth between all the accounts. So I like doing this with the brush because it's softening everything and it's putting the pencil into the tooth of the paper. And it's just a cheap canvas Bristol brush. Absolutely. So I don't know how many times I've gone through the drawing. I've gone through it a lot, meaning starting again, starting again, starting over again. And so I'm going to start over again in a moment here. But I'm going to get up and stretch. I want to go get something from another room. I will be right back. I will be right back. So I don't know how to mute my mic when I know how to mute it on Zoom, but not. Okay. So give me a moment. I will be right back. I've got to get up and stretch for a second. Okay, I'm back. And I just needed a little bathroom break and definitely to stretch a little bit. And again, it's really, really good to get up off of your chair, move around, reset your eyes. Like I probably could have reset my eyes a little bit more, just meaning like you want to look at something far away. So these are the glasses that I've had for many, many years. I use them all the time when I'm drawing. These are my progressive lenses that I use when I'm not drawing and when I'm just living life. So put my progressives on and I'm looking far away. I'm focusing on something very far away in my studio. And that should reset my eyes. And because I'm up close, way too much. And I think it's valuable to do that. And I think the best way to do it is technically to look out the window and look at something from far away. And yeah, okay. So I just want to open up one of my blinds here for a moment. Okay. Let's make this thing happen. So, how long have we been doing this? I think I've been drawing for an hour and 10 minutes because I was talking a lot at the beginning. Yeah. Okay. So, let's start again. Let's start again. And I think what I need to do is draw some of the character of this gal's hair, um, starting right here. Yes, it's not white, but I want it to be lighter. And we've got these light strands. So, strands of hair are extremely important to the character of whom you're drawing. And I do this exercise in the classroom with my students where they draw each other, but I only, in one 20-minute session, they draw their classmates across from them because we set up 2 rows of 10 on either side. And I'm like, just draw your classmates' hair. And it should look like them if you use the right pencil strokes to get the texture of that student's hair. So maybe that student has like pin straight hair. Maybe another student's hair is very, very curly. And so, like, what I'm trying to do here with this model is just try to get some of the strands of their hair. Let's go to this side. And it's important to sharpen the mono zero. I think the mono zero, somebody on YouTube turned me on to it years ago. You know, I've been teaching for so many years. People come and go. I've had students on my website, drawingtutorialsonline.com, for like 10 years. Some people will join for like just a month and then they cancel their membership. I've had people stay with me for 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, 2 months. And so even it's the same thing on YouTube. Like I used to do the live streams like religiously, and people just always share different materials, and I love that. And so the Col-Erase student shared that with me, and it became like my go-to pencil. And then another student on YouTube shared with me the Mono Zero, and I thanked them for that. And for All right, the stream stopped and I just started it again. So again, I don't know Starship Games if you've heard me. I've been talking, but the live stream cut out there for a second. And so Phoenix, I started again. Let me know when you see me live again. Let me know. So Starship Games, Col-Erase pencils. Yes, it froze for a second. Is it back up? Let me know. Yeah, as soon as it starts up again, let me know because right now on my end it's filming. Okay, you can see me now. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for letting me know that. So, Starship Games, I don't know if you heard what I said, but basically, I think just graphite is graded that way, and colored pencils are not. And new Col-Erase pencils that you buy from the store, and they're fresh and they're new, are softer. When you've had a Col-Erase pencil laying in your pencil case for a couple of years, if you live like in a dry environment, because I have hundreds of these Col-Erase pencils, what happens is that they get hard, like an H pencil, and when they're brand new, they're very, very soft, like a B pencil. So that is a thing, and I don't like that, but yeah, so because I have hundreds of these pencils, because I don't know if you heard me say this before the live stream cut out, but I used to give them away when people would join my website. Like I would give them a package of like a DVD set, a box set with Col-Erase pencils and a grayscale. And I still have so many of those pencils, and they're really hard, like an H pencil instead of like a B pencil. So that's a thing, no doubt about it. Yeah, the lips. I need to put more pencil down on the paper shortly here, but I'm just drawing with my eraser a little bit. I wanted to get some of those strands of hair, and I've done that. I could still do more, but I think that's fine for now. Okay. Maybe a little light on the model's forehead and brow bone. So top of the eye socket, brow bone. Look at the distance from the edge of the head to the edge of the eye shadow. Okay, let's get rid of these eraser crumbs. And let's go through it again. Starship Games, let me know if you have any other questions and let me know if I answered that question properly for you. As I drool on myself after drinking from a bottle of water. Okay, so let's continue. So let's go back. And this eye is killing me today. This eye is killing me. Struggling through. So maybe last week's drawing went a whole lot smoother for me because I did start with the shadow shape and I did not start with the angles like I did today. So, that's interesting. Okay, we've got a little shadow here on the model's temple. And this strand of hair coming down, character. So I don't know how long I'm going to go with the live stream. I'm going to go until I'm somewhat satisfied with the way that the drawing is looking. But I'm definitely going to work on it after the live stream and post it to my Instagram and the posts on my YouTube channel. So let's get this lash so you can see how it turned out. So I'm just clarifying edges. That was frustrating. I didn't get to hear the answer at all because the stream cut out twice. Okay, so it's still going now. So Starship Games. And for those of you who have heard me, I apologize for you listening to me like the third time with this. But okay, Col-Erase pencil and colored pencils in general. It's my thought that they do not grade like graphite because it's just a different material. And so you can have like a pack of colored pencils and maybe there's all different hardnesses and softnesses to the pencil, the colored pencil, because of the pigment. The pigment would dictate the hardness and the softness. So I think it could be like a little bit more chaotic if they start labeling all of the different hardnesses and softnesses. And yeah, versus graphite. Graphite's a little bit more predictable with the hardness and the softness. That's my educated guess. Now, I also understand, since I've owned these Col-Erase pencils for many, many years, that when you've had a set of Col-Erase pencils for years and maybe you don't really use them, and my home is extremely dry, I noticed that the older and the longer the pencils lay around in my studio, the harder the pencils actually get. And when I buy a new Col-Erase pencil, it's usually so much harder. I'm sorry, so much softer. New Col-Erase pencils are so much softer than the Col-Erase pencils that I've had in my studio for years, that are just sitting there and kind of like drying out, because my home is a pretty dry environment, especially in the wintertime. My home is very dry, and in the summertime, my home is even drier. because the AC sucks out all of the humidity. So I have Col-Erase pencils that I've had for years, and because I used to give them away on my website. I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, everybody, but I really want to answer Starships Games, even though the stream cut out. And those pencils that I have in boxes, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Like these boxes here, and these I've had in my studio for years. If I start to draw with this pencil, it's super hard, super hard. Compared to if I just went to the art supply store and I bought a new one, which you can't do anymore, black separately, it would be soft, like a really soft 3B, 4B type vibe to the pencil. Okay, now, all right, cool. I need to move on from this area, and I'm going to go back down to the model's lips. And her lip kind of hangs over a little bit right over there. And I need to get rid of this white paper because there's no white there. So I'm going to hold my pencil back here because I got a little bit of a shaky hand and the tone is coming down from the cheekbone. Don't press down too hard over here. You kind of want to keep that somewhat light. And back. So the cast shadow on the model's lower lip is darker than the upper lip. Interesting. So this angles down, and then it angles up, and then it curves down to the center. Okay, cool. And then this upper lip, don't make the upper lip so dark, because it's not. It's where the two lips touch, and the cast shadow on the lower lip, that is what is really dark. Here. And then let's get this bottom line here. Okay, I feel like I'm getting somewhere now. It's been an hour and a half, about an hour and 25 minutes that I've been working on this drawing. Now, this lower lip is not the white of the paper, so I'm going to tone it down. And, oh, I see. There's a little shadow line over here with the roundness of the muscle of the mouth. A little shadow up there, and then the modeling factors on the bottom of the chin. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the environment really affects. We have a convex line that rolls around the model's neck. And let's go back over here. I'm going to go darker with the nose. I think it's character, not too dark. And I think I need to be a little bit clearer with the tip of the nose, which I think I've worked on the least of this drawing. So you're just drawing shadow shapes. If you struggle with drawing noses, don't think of it as a nose. Think of it as shapes of light versus shadow. And that's the importance when you're really starting out learning how to draw. I think it's very important that you work from photos that have some light and shade. I think it's powerful for you to work from a photo reference that has form light, like Rembrandt lighting. And then once you're able to draw a portrait with Rembrandt lighting and you're able to see the shadows versus the light, then you can switch to maybe a little bit more of a side light photo, or maybe light coming from up above, maybe light that's more front light but still has shadows on the underplanes. Like, I think it's important that you work from photography that has light and shade. Okay, let's put more tone down. Directional strokes around the cylinder of the neck. Yep. Okay, let's see here. Now the sternomastoid muscle is coming down into the neck. I need to work on the other eye. So let's go back one more time to the eyebrow. Tear duct, like what we were doing before. Yeah, this is harder than I thought. Shadow on the lower lid. And the eye area tilts up. And then the lashes really tilt up at the edge. And then you draw that. It's not a circle, it's a rectangle for her eye. And a long lash for character. And then this hair is coming down, and I want to draw that because it's the character of the photo. Back to the mono zero. And a little bit more light strands of hair. I'm cheating a little bit. It's not white there, but I feel as though I'm just doing that so I can get a little bit more accuracy. And then above the eyelid is darker. So I'm just matching values here. You got it, Starship Games. Thank you for the donation. That was much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And boy, this eye it's not no joke. No joke. And I'm adding more tone in a circular fashion. And just a little bit more work on these eyes. There's no dark outline on her face, but I feel I need to do that for the placement of things. A little bit more dark on the lower eyelid, which for me is a no-no, but I'm trying to match the values here. Um, I think I'm going to work a little bit on the placement of the ear now. So, okay, that if that's the eye, the inside of the ear is a little bit lower. So I'm just doing some comparative analysis there. Don't go too dark with the inside of the ear. Just suggest like a dark middle tone, not black, and keep it a little lighter, less contrasty, because you don't want the viewer to look at the inside of the model's ear first. I am going to draw the earring thing. I think it's fun. And a little bit more now with this hair. Oh, I see. That angle's down. Okay. Cool. Let's see. I'm curious how many people we got watching this thing. 17. Okay. Okay. I appreciate you hanging with me here today. You're watching me struggle through this, and it's got to be interesting to see me struggle. And it is what it is. You just got to, you want to get better. You just got to work through this stuff and don't get discouraged and kind of keep drawing and keep learning. Like, I think it's important to learn techniques. I'm not really doing like technique things here in this live stream. I'm just kind of drawing and talking about techniques a little bit out loud, not as much as I could, but um, you don't want to just draw for the sake of drawing all the time. There are times that you want to draw with a little bit more purpose and actually isolate a technique and just draw that technique. I think that that's a very valuable thing to do. That helped me a lot over the years. Like I would isolate different techniques and just draw. So I would just do a very, very primitive like angles drawing. And then another one, I would just do a very primitive like opposite C's drawing for like gesture. Another one, I would just do like isolate the technique of like negative space. And I think it's really super duper important for you to isolate techniques. Appreciate that, Benny. Yeah, it's just sometimes I've done portraits where I nail it and I'm happy and the lines that I put down, every single line is like, oh, that's perfect, that looks really good. And there are other times where that doesn't happen and you just keep pushing. That's all. uh, Yeah, it's always funny when I bomb in like a class demonstration. When I do class demonstrations at the School of Visual Arts, they're usually much, much quicker than this. I never do this long type of thing because it's the animation department and I'm teaching them gesture and quick stuff and you also in a live situation, like you're on a live stream with me, you can leave whenever you want. Like you're not obligated to stay and watch. But when you're a student in the classroom, boy, oh boy, the teacher better make it entertaining. So I try to keep the demos short and not super long so I don't. And attention spans do vary, absolutely. Okay, I am gonna, at risk of screwing everything up, back to the brush. I'm pushing the pencil into the tooth of the paper. Creates a beautiful soft effect. And what it also does is it shortens the drawing time because it just creates more tone for you faster. It's softening everything as well. And softness equals realism. If things are too hard edge everywhere, then it looks more graphic-y, and a graphic look and feel to the drawing is not realistic. Um, Softness is realistic. And if I can expand on that, softness with the edge variety is really realistic. So, meaning you'd have lost edges, soft edges, and hard edges. And you have a balance of all of those types of edges, and that's when your drawing mimics a little bit more of like a lifelike scenario. All right, I gotta get a little drink of water here. And I'm gonna look at this from far away again momentarily. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get up and stretch. I'm sorry. I appreciate that, Phoenix. Hopefully, I'm not just like babbling. So that means a lot to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, yeah, I just got to get up for a second. Now, I do this in the classroom. Like, we stretch all the time. And I'm like, listen, all my young students, I'm like, please, we got to avoid you having like tech neck and rounded forward artist shoulders. So I'm always doing stretching with the students in the classroom. Give me a second. All right, yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this because I need to tie up some loose ends. I'll show you two other drawings while I'm just resting my eyes for a second, resting my hand. This was something I did yesterday. This was a member requested. Now, this was a 45-minute drawing of how to draw like ocean waves. Like it definitely is way more impressionistic, and that's with the Col-Erase with a white charcoal pencil. That was so much fun. 45 minutes just talking about how to draw water and waves and perspective, brushstroke direction, value structure, and yeah, it was fun. And that's for my Zoom class. That like people get to decide. And this was for another Zoom class, and so I'm using. I think it was for a Zoom class. I hope it was, or was it on YouTube live stream? Now I forgot. No, this was a Zoom class. So yeah, the blue Col-Erase pencil, love it. I haven't drawn with it in a long time, but that was a really fun sketch. Um, yeah, totally. Let's see. I appreciate you, Benny. Absolutely. And Juliano Sosa. Hey, Matt, I'm a fellow art teacher from Brazil and a comic book artist myself. Been following your content for years and recommend it to many of my English speaking students. I appreciate you, Juliano. Thank you so much. I'd like to see your artwork. And do you have a channel? Maybe you can post it. I can check out your artwork or your Instagram. No babbling at all. Talk sometimes. Yeah, it's cool. Awesome. Thank you, Benny. Okay, so uh yeah, what am I doing next here? Colorize, colorize. So I'm gonna push it. Let's see. Oh wow, we've been doing this now. I started this live stream at 11, and the video cut out, and I don't know how it's gonna record. That's weird. And yeah, so let's say this drawing is an hour and 45 minutes. So now what I need to do is I need to draw a little bit more detail with this eye. I'm going to zoom in just a touch on my photo reference. Now, I've got to be careful. I don't want to make this eye so dark that it looks like a hole in my paper. That's called the keyhole effect. So the eyelid underneath the lashes is slightly darker, so I'm trying to show that. And very pretty model, so I'm trying to do the model justice. And yeah, hard. And this model pack came with so many cool facial expressions. And I don't like drawing facial expressions. I like more classic poses, but on my Zoom classes on my website, the ocean scene that I showed you momentarily a couple of moments ago, that was member requested. People wanted me to teach them how to draw water. We did one water flowing over rocks like in a river, and then we did more ocean waves. And another request from members is facial expressions. And to me, it's the same as what I'm doing here. It's just the facial expression is different. And I don't really enjoy drawing like kooky facial expressions. It's not like my thing. But it's going to be a fun class, and it's getting me out of my comfort zone. I like I said, classic portraits that are timeless and not a little bit more of a softer expression. That's just my thing. I like that better. Um, so yeah, let's get rid of that white over there. Okay, I'll zoom out a little bit now, and let's tackle this eye. So, oh, I see. There's some darks going into the tear duct part. And this bag, it's not a bag under the eye, it's just a discoloration under the eye. The eye is a little bit thinner there, skin is thinner. And darker above. So it's very difficult lighting on this model's her right eye, the left side of the photo. Totally. And I have the white of the eye too open and it's too white. It needs to be darker because it's cast in shadow. And these strands of hair, I want to just is there's no dark there. I'm adding dark just to try to speed up the process of showing where the hair ends and where the shadow begins. Curve around this area. It's very vague and it's very hard. It's a scenario that less is best. Now, when I chose this photo reference, I'm like, this eye is very freaky, and if I draw it wrong, it's gonna look wrong. So yeah, it's borderline for me. So I'm gonna use the mono zero for a couple of lashes. And a couple of more lashes. And it's softer under I think I'm going to make her face slightly thinner. Okay, back to the nose. Indicate the nostrils ever so slightly. I don't want to add the nose ring. That's just me. And you might want to add the nose ring. Maybe you like that. Maybe that's cool for you. Don't go super dark over here. Be subtle with the pressure on the pencil. Okay, cool. And I think I need to soften the lips a lot. They're a little bit too hard edged. And this Rembrandt triangular light area is a little bit too light. Man, this model, she is really an awesome model that is very hard to draw. And I'm using my artistic license right now, and I'm adding darks where there's no darks. And that is a feeling out process that you have to do, and it should really match with your personal style of art. And, I've got some students on my Zoom calls at Drawing Tutorials Online where we talk about all the time because in the Zoom, listen, I don't love Zoom, but it's really good for teaching people who live far away from you, and you're able to interact. They can share their drawings when we're done with the drawing. So the drawing part's about an hour, and then the Q&A is about an hour. And during the Q&A, the students share their drawings with me, and it's really cool because I can see what they're doing in like real time and help them. And that's the one really cool thing about the Zoom is that you're able to do that. Now, I'm really having a hard time figuring out this model's ear, so I think it goes up there. Yeah, weird. Very weird. Let's put a little couple darks right there. Curving around. This is not dark, but I'm making it dark. And the lips. I said the lips needed to be softer. Yeah, one of a kind, no doubt. Softer. And I've zoomed into my photo reference a little bit. Like I've changed a lot over the years. I used to be such a hard-headed person where I'd be like, oh, you only should print out your photo reference because I used to have like this really cool printer, and then ink started getting so expensive, and I'm like, I started drawing from my screen, and now I haven't drawn anything from a printed photo in years. Everything, like right now, I've got the reference up on I have a Cintiq screen that my piece of paper is actually on right now. And that is my big Cintiq screen is my drawing table. And I draw on it digitally when I'm doing the critiques, and I draw digitally. And then I cover it with the paper when I'm drawing with paper. And so I have my photo reference on my iPad, which is right what I'm looking at off. And I also have the photo reference on my Cintiq screen to the left of this sheet of paper. So I'm seeing it in two different ways. Now, on my Cintiq screen, it's not as sharp as my iPad because on my Cintiq screen, I have the paper-like screen protector. I just like it because it makes my Cintiq screen feel more like a 18 by 24 piece of paper and not glass. I hate drawing on glass, but I've gotten used to it over the years. And yeah, it's not actually even the Paperlike. It is a different company that is so much cheaper, but it's a weird company name. I think it's called like Green Onions. It's on Amazon, but it's Green Onions screen protector, paper texture. It's half the price of the Paperlike, and it's awesome. Like I love it. It's so good. Now, I used to have it on my iPad, and I draw on my iPad. And I'm teaching live drawing sometimes because the students could see what I'm drawing on like a big monitor in the classroom. But yeah, I've gotten used to drawing on the iPad, not using the paper like material on the screen. But on my Cintiq here at home, I love that texture on the screen. But what my point is, it makes the reference a little bit fuzzier. That's why I like to also draw from my iPad because it's super sharp. I should draw the model's earring over there. Put some strokes on the lips that show the volume of the lips, like wrap around, because the lips are kind of cylinders. And really try to study where the two lips touch. It's very complicated. Lots of different angles. And there needs to be more dark around this model's eye. And I think the forehead's too tall. Now, there's no darks where I'm outlining the hair. There's no darks there, but I'm putting the darks there just because I think it's going to help the drawing. Subtleties with this shadow under the nose, light pressure. I feel like now I'm starting to get a little warmed up 2 hours into the situation. Better late than never, right? I definitely would like to reset my eyes a little bit more, but I don't want to keep stopping. I'll work for a little while longer. Green onions, yes. Yeah, the it's green onions. And it's on Amazon. And for the I have the QHD 32-inch Cintiq. I've had it now for oh boy, 12 years, 12 plus years, and it was a very big investment, and it was very expensive. I have the Ergo stand, and the screen protector is freaking. It's been on there for years, and I don't plan on taking it off. uh, and it was a game changer for me. Like I would do way more digital drawings on the Cintiq, but my iMac is getting a little long in the tooth, and it can't handle the big size sheets of paper that I would draw on. So then I get like that spinning wheel, and I doing like a digital drawing would be so much easier for me than pencil. I like pencil, and it's what I've been drawing my whole life. But sometimes it's so much easier to teach digitally than it is traditionally, no doubt. because I can just draw over the reference and explain myself so much easier. So maybe when I get a new, faster computer, I'll do more digital stuff. Okay, let's see. I'm not really matching the values on the neck. You never know. They could deliver. I'm not quite sure about that. Strands of hair. When I stop talking, you know I've been doing the live stream for a while. You're not supposed to stop talking when you're a teacher. Um, let's see here. I've only watched one other artist do a live stream recently. I was curious. I never really watch other artists on YouTube, and I watched them, and they were so chill compared to me, and they were just stopping and they were doing other things, and it was pretty interesting. Yeah, darker. Okay, and maybe I need to go a little darker over here. My dog has been sleeping in my studio the entire time. She sleeps a lot, no doubt. This ear does not look good. I need to give it a little attention. I have too many straight lines. Straight lines are the enemy of drawing somebody semi realistic. Like, you've got to curve every single line. Straight lines are like synthetic, and so curvy is better. I'm hearing my other dog in the hallway, which is not good. Oh boy. Okay, any questions? I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. Um, she still needs a lot of work though on my end of things. I like the Color so much better than the Black Wing. I should go get the drawing that I did last week, and we should compare the two. Um, when you stare at the photo, her left eye, the right side of the photo reference, and you analyze just that eye, it does look a little weird in isolation because you can't see the iris, so it's a little strange, and I just have to accept that it looks a little strange. Um, Gonna lose an edge, little background tone. I just want to see something. Okay. I just want to get up off my chair. I want to get the drawing that I did last week and compare the two. Yeah, so, well, this is nice too. Okay, let me skip the ad 1 second. So, let me just wait for this to kind of catch up. So, this was the drawing that I did last week, and I used this pencil, the Blackwing, and I like It's cool. So, now I'm going to just slide it to the right, and then we'll compare. It's just the Colorase takes longer to get the darks down and get the subtleties. And the Blackwing is just so much faster, and you can blend. So everything is faster with the Blackwing. So it really depends on speed, and the Colorase is a much slower. Yeah, I've worked with charcoal before. I've got a couple of tutorials on my website with the Nitram charcoal, which is it's fun. It's fun, and I think I also have. Hey Trinity, good to see you. I hope your summer's going good. I might have a Nitram live stream on YouTube. No doubt about it. I think I did that. I was a coaching student that I coached a few years ago. I coached them for a very long time. And they insisted, they're like, you've got to try different materials. You've got to stop drawing with just the Colorase. And I'm like, okay. And so I think they mailed me Nitram charcoal because they were dying to see how I would draw with it, and I think I might have one on YouTube. It's one of the videos. I don't know. It was when I used to do more live streams. Trinity, I hope you're having a good time in your summer and you've got your part-time job, and I hope you're still drawing. And I didn't even post any sketchbooks. I've got to post some of those sketchbooks. How did you find me, Trinity? Did you just log in and to YouTube and you saw that I was doing a live? Um, yeah, back to the brush. Yeah, I think it's Nitram, Nitram, and they have different hardnesses and softnesses to them, and they seem to be like the going charcoal that most of the cool kids use. So for me, it's way too messy, and I don't like drawing with the big charcoal sticks. For me, that is ultimately best for when you're drawing big. This drawing's small, okay. And how big is it? Where's my ruler? So I drew a little bit bigger last week. I mean, it's small for charcoal, like in my opinion. So I could say that the head from the hair to the chin is about 4 inches, right? Um, yeah, give or take. That's not huge when you're working with a big Nitram clunky, and then sharpening. You can sharpen them, but boy, oh boy, that makes a disaster. And I've got cameras here, and I've got my computers, and I just don't want to have charcoal dust floating all over my studio because it does get all over. And yeah, I had a studio years ago that had like a carpet, and I remember when I moved out of that studio, I made a path on the carpet, and it was like from my shoes, all the charcoal and all the pencil that went on the floor. Like I made a path on the carpet, and I never really noticed it until I moved out of that studio. So it does make a mess, no doubt about it. It's up to you. Like some people love the mess thing, and that's cool. I just like it a little bit tidier in my studio. I'm just taking the edge off of everything with this brush. Yeah, I'm subscribed, so when you go live, it gives me a notification. So to the point, Trinity. So to the point. Are you still drawing this summer, Trinity? Are you ready to go back to SVA? No, you're not ready. We've only had like a month and a half off so far. I'm not ready. I'm teaching pre-college in July. 1 week straight of 2 classes a day. Should be fun. I'm setting this up so I draw more with the eraser in a moment. See what I'm doing? I'm covering the hair now with this brush, and it's just creating more layers, and it's gonna set me up so I can draw with the Mono Zero, and it's gonna look cool. Just hang in there for a moment. I know this must not look so fun to watch me with a brush. Now, what I should do, I don't want to do it, but I should pick the drawing up off of my screen and show it to you on my other camera. But I'll take a picture of it and put it in the whatchamacallit, the posts on my YouTube channel. Okay, where's that Mono Zero? So, yeah. Let me go through this with the Mono Zero. Cool. Yeah. Definitely still drawing. I'm not quite ready to but give me a few more weeks. I'm sure you're doing great. Yeah, neck issues. I can't hunch over either. Yeah, absolutely. I've been working on my website, redesigning the website a little bit, reorganizing it, and I was in front of the computer all day on Monday, and I was paying for it on Tuesday. I forgot. I didn't do enough stretching. Okay, let's get back to more here with this. So strands of hair. Strands of hair. Forehead. And brow bone. Oh boy, this eraser. Cheekbone. Front plane of the nose. And the surface plane shift of the nose is where the highlight is. Front plane. And this part of the nostril lobe. A little bit more brow bone. And let's go, let me resharpen the pencil, the eraser again. And more with this strand of hair thing. Yeah, when I stop talking, it's. I think that's given me like a clue. I should stop this live stream soon. Um, okay, and let's get above the lip, and this little. Okay, I'm Yeah, I'm going to sharpen it again because this is important. I'm definitely going through these erasers quickly by constantly chiseling them with a razor blade. 1 second. Ball of the mouth needs to be lighter. That's a character thing with this model. The cheekbone is not the lightest, but I'm kind of using artistic license and making it a little bit lighter. More strands of hair. Okay, cool. I think this one might be done soon. I don't know. Any last questions? Okay, so Phoenix toning the paper and using the mono is really making the drawing pop. Agreed. Del Monte green beans. Dang, I missed it. I'm still here. We're chilling. And to work on my accuracy, I look at the model and then my drawing and back and again very fast and only with the eyes. If you look, okay, wait a second. If you look at the model and look at yours and some moves on the face, that's what's off. Yeah, I think the rapid looking back and forth is a good thing. So my summer's been a little bit of a challenge. I had to, we did a massive home improvement in terms of replacing floors. And when you replace floors, that means you need to take everything out of the room. And my kids just had so much stuff in their rooms. And where do you put all this stuff? And they've had it for years. And then you need to have them look through it. What are they going to keep? What are they going to get rid of? That was torture. That and then I had to paint rooms, and I had to do it. It's been a while, so that was not fun, but it was a must. And then my dog got sick and had a brain tumor, and we had to put the dog down, and that sucked. Then my mom got sick with all this stuff. She was in the hospital for like 8 days, and so I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm just trying to be realistic. There was a lot of shit that went down, so it seems like things are turning around a little bit now. But the dog thing destroyed me because Chloe was my dog, and yeah, Truffles is in the background right behind me, sleeping, and she's a little lost too. That we had to put Chloe down. So it's been a rough summer. It's been a rough summer, no doubt about it. But I'm teaching pre-college at the School of Visual Arts from July 10th to the 15th, and I'm looking forward to getting back into the classroom. Um, I'm enjoying the break though. I'm enjoying not commuting to Manhattan, which is a grind. Yeah, the dog. It was torture. Like there's nothing more surreal than when you have to make an appointment with the vet to go in and put your dog down. And then they come on in and it's awful. It's just awful. Like you see the dog's eyes close, and you're like, oh my god, I'm never getting another dog again. We do have two dogs still, and one dog should be with us for like another 6 7 years. I don't know how many years Truffles has. I forgot when we got Truffles. Maybe 2 or 3 more years. Not quite sure. Now I don't know if I should add the earring on the other side. Maybe. Now, listen, everybody. If you like this drawing, if you like what I'm doing here, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you like what I'm doing here and you got some value from this live stream, maybe consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and clicking on the notifications so when I go live, you get notified. That would be pretty phenomenal. I would appreciate that. For those of you who are looking for like a little bit more than what I do on YouTube, and you want to see more, you like the way that I teach, I literally have hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of videos at my membership site, drawingtutorialsonline.com. And they're not just one-off YouTube videos where I do a live stream, or just they're sequenced courses that teach things in a sequenced order. So it's not like chaos. It's more structured learning, like what I do in the classroom. This live stream, I don't know if you would call this structured learning. I don't think it is. It's just for me more of like a hangout session, because I'm not really doing, I'm not analyzing the techniques. I'm not taking you through like the primitiveness of the techniques of how my brain is thinking. I'm just drawing. I'm talking about the techniques, but I'm not drawing the techniques. I did a little bit at the beginning of the video, but yeah, so that I have way more on my website where I'm literally drilling down and isolating techniques and getting into the weeds with it all. And the cool thing about the website is you can join for like a month or two, and then you can just cancel. And there's no pressure for you to stay and not cancel. And the value that you will get from the website is ginormous, because I'll be able to critique your artwork there. Every week you can upload a drawing to the critique gallery. I call it the critique gallery. You post your drawing, and you post your photo reference, and I critique it, and that video gets posted every Monday. Every Tuesday, I have a Zoom class where I could critique your drawings on the Zoom class as well, because you can show them to me like in real time right on Zoom, and people love that. And it's a small group that attends the Zoom classes, and they've been with me. Some of them have been with me for years. I mean, when you're paying for a membership site, people come and go, and that's the nature of that situation. And that's how it should be, because even when I'm teaching at college, people come and go. You have your freshman class, and then they leave, and then you get a new group of students next September, and that's what happens. And students need to move on and experience different teachers and grow. And I think that's really, really important. I used to like get so upset when somebody canceled, and I'm like, oh my God, do I suck? What did I do wrong? Why did they cancel? But it's just the nature of the beast. People come and people go, and people, when it's time for them to cancel, they know it, and maybe you're not the teacher for them, and maybe there's another teacher out there that maybe they're cooler, they're hipper, maybe they're older, maybe they're wiser. Maybe you just like the way that they look. Maybe you don't like the way that my voice sounds. Like, there's all different things as to why you like one teacher versus another, and you just got to kind of accept that. There's a lot more that I can do to this drawing, but I think I'm going to put it to bed in just like a couple of minutes. I appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much, Kuro Koki. I don't know if I must have butchered your name. My goodness. I'm doing a not a hardcore sell. I'm just talking about this randomly. It's not going to bother me if you don't sign up to the website. It would help me, but it's not going to bother me. I understand YouTube is a very cool place. I love YouTube. I also offer one-on-one coaching. And what is that? You sign up for the coaching and you send me your artwork, maybe 10 pieces, and I critique it. And then we set a path together for the next 3 sessions. So the coaching is 4 sessions. And you sign up, and the first session is a video critique of your artwork and a Zoom call to follow up. And then you get homework, and you could take 2 weeks to do the homework, and then I critique it, and then we have a Zoom call. Then you get more homework for the third session. I critique it, and then we have another Zoom call. And then the fourth and final session, you do more homework, and then I critique it, and then we have a follow-up Zoom call. So that is the 4-session coaching that I offer on the website. I also offer 1-session coaching. If you go to my website, drawingtutorialsonline.com, there's a link, and there's something called like the shop and the coaching. If you want to look at the pricing, it is on there. You can check it out there. Now, do I want to play with a little bit of use an artistic license here? Do I want this to be lighter? This is more of like a balancing thing for me. Maybe, yes, I do like that. Did I want to do anything in the neck? I don't know. I could probably work on this after I'm done filming, and I might do that after lunch, maybe. I think this might be my longest live stream. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Putting them to sleep. Well, Del Monte Green Beans, my last dog I had, was in the Bronx a long time ago, left for reserve military, came back. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's terrible. Yeah, when you lose an animal, it's so hard, especially, the dog watched TV with me every single night on the sofa. Used to cut the grass with me in the backyard, and now they're gone. So it's just craziness when that happens. Um, Now, just in closing here, people, with the neck, you just gotta, if you're gonna do the neck, do the neck. If you don't want to do the neck, then just keep it soft and let the drawing trail away and fade away. That's kind of like the idea. You don't want to end the drawing ever at the chin. You always want the face to blend into that neck. I think that's super important. You want to always include shoulder tops a little bit because it's an anchor for the portrait. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you don't do that, then what happens is the head kind of almost looks like it's floating, and nobody wants a floating head. That's not good for your art. A little bit over here, and then I'm done. I'm going to work on it a little bit this afternoon off camera, just because when I draw on camera, I can't really get too close with it, or else you're going to see my bald head, and nobody needs to see that. I'm curious to see what happens if I go a little bit with texture. I kind of like it like this a little bit more and a little less soft. Um, Starship Games, thank you so much. The hardest part of following your portrait tutorials is that you don't draw, and oh yeah, you don't draw out any guidelines, but encourage us to visualize it instead. I don't mean this as a critique, just an observation. So, uh, okay, listen, Starship Games, for that donation, I'm going to do a drawing for you quickly here on a scrap piece of paper where I use some guidelines, okay? I'm going to show you, and yeah, just give me a moment. I just want to do a couple more strokes here. I like that because it's a little bit more playful, and yeah. It's a little bit of a reverse gradation. So I'm going to work on this one a little bit off camera. I like it. This eye is funky when you stare at the photo of it. It is what it is. I chose the photo, and I chose it understanding that that eye could look funky because we don't see it. We just see the lashes, and so it almost just looks like a little hole there. But I love this model. She's so cool, and I had to draw her. The lips need volume lines. The drawing needs a lot. The nose needs a little bit of work. So I'm going to work on it a little bit this afternoon. And if you want to check it out, I'll probably show it during the next live stream. Now, I could, let's leave it at that. Okay. So let me do a guidelines drawing for you of how I like to draw the head out of my imagination. I'm just looking for a piece of paper. And I need to get a drink of water, and then I'll do this for like maybe a couple minutes, and then we'll call it a day. Do I have recommendations on paper? Okay. Okay, listen, I'm a simpleton. I only use pretty much like there's a few papers that I use, and my favorite. Let me do this. Let me do this. I want to just try something. Okay, cool. I only use Strathmore 400 series drawing paper. It's 80 pounds. And the reason why I use it is because it's fairly inexpensive and you can get it at most art supply stores. I also love Strathmore illustration board. I've been using that for many, 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 many years. And that's, if I'm going to spend more time, I'm going to paint the board and I'm going to draw on top of the painted acrylic. I also like newsprint for drawing from life. So those are the papers that I've used for years. And yeah, I don't make it any more complicated than that. So this is the drawing here today. And let's see. Yeah, she's cool. I need to work on it more. It needs more time. That's all. Put this to the side. And I'm just going to draw on this. I'll draw on this scrap piece of paper. So I want to do a guidelines drawing, or what Starship said is, yeah, guidelines. Okay, oops. Let me just tape this down. Move this over. Awesome. Okay, just taping this down. So I'm going to just do let's use the Blackwing. My hand's killing me from that Cola Race. So I'm not using reference. I'm just kind of drawing out of my imagination. Where's the top? That's the top. That's the bottom. This is the left. So what am I doing here? So okay. So guidelines drawing. I'm drawing a head out of my imagination, a profile. So 2 ovals make up the skull, and that is the back of the skull. This is your forehead. Okay, this is your jawbone. This would be your eye socket, bottom of the nose, upper lip, lower lip, tilt of the nose. Now, across from the eye, not on everybody, but on some people. Across from the eye would be the top of the ear or the eyebrow, and across from the bottom of the nose would be the bottom of the ear. Now, I think I want to, yeah. So now in terms of the neck, so yeah, shoulder and collarbone and chest. So that's very formulaic. So I'm going across from the eye to the top of the ear. I'm going across from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the ear. The jawbone is 3 angles, so it's the vertical angle, the tilted angle, and the chin. And now if I wanted to just kind of push this a little bit more, I could say, oh, okay, cool. This is that eye socket area. This would be where the eye lashes. That would be the eye area. That would be in shadow. This would be your eyebrow. It's angles, and then just the bottom of the nose kind of work on. And then upper lip, just kind of work on under the lower lip over here. And so this is a little bit more of like a formula way to draw the human head. I don't love it, this one, the way that it came out, but if I wanted to like push it a little bit more, I can say, oh, okay, cool. That's going to be this model's kind of like cheekbone, zygomatic arch thing. I could kind of try to do a little bit more with the nose, a little bit more with the lip, kick the chin forward. I'm drawing really soft here, and I'm not going to give this model hair. This would be the sternomastoid muscle connecting. This would be the trapezius, and then that would be the deltoid that is kind of like an ice cream cone. So this is a very soft pencil to do this. And so now if we did... I think my arm is done, people. I think I'm going to call this one quits. So now if I want, I'm just going to work on this for another minute. If I wanted to start to add like a little bit more shading with this, I could shade that side. I could shade this side. I can do like a little bit of like reverse gradation over here. And yes, so that's more of a formula. Now, if I wanted to make this thing, let me zoom in just a touch. Now, this pencil is so soft, I don't like this, but I'm going to keep going. Now, I could say, oh, let's do angles. So angles, angle, angle, angle in, cheekbone, angle, and the nose. So I'm going to turn this person into like, I'm going to give them like a beard. So now if I wanted to, I can turn this person into like more of like a tough guy Viking situation. So I'm going to kick out their nose. But that's the formula that I like to use. And so maybe I want this to kind of come out, and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to come up. And mustache into beard. Crazy, crazy. Big, huge chest. Heavy eye. And heavy brow under the nose. Big lip. Crazy texture of the hair. Let's give this dude big ears. A thicker neck. Totally. Softer over here. Big Adam's apple. Big neck muscle. Big trapezius. And a massive deltoid. So that's starting from a, whatchamacallit, out of my imagination. And so it's that formula thing. So that's different. That's isolating that technique to start with. So I do this more on the website, not so much YouTube, because with YouTube it's just about trying to make something look pretty. I could do more of these, but I like using YouTube as like a time that I can actually draw and make something look pretty versus like a tutorial drawing like this. Okay, let's do this last little doodad here. Let's shade the whole. Super fun. Super fun. Let me just look at some of these comments before we call this one done. Del Monte Green Beans, I might have lost my drawing ability. Just couldn't keep up during military service training. Yeah, I hear you, man. Thank you for your service. Just try to squeeze in like 10 minutes a day. Like 10 minutes, 5 minutes here and there is better than once a week. 5 to 10 minutes, just, yes, draw anything. And it's better. It's better to draw every day versus once a week, I'm telling you. Fabricio Condori. I wake up and see that you started this live video. I draw along with you, and great practice. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. I appreciate you. Thank you for the live stream, and I hope you feel better soon. Absolutely. We're going to have a good lunch. And wow, this is a self-portrait. Okay, that's funny. And Del Monte green beans. I always broke the face into puzzle pieces that fit in a certain way. Baron features. That's a good one to do. I like that. Thank you so much for that. You're awesome. I appreciate you, Starship Games. Thank you for the donations. And Trinity, cool. All right, everybody. That's all I got for you today. I can't believe I just drew this thing. It's kind of gross, but it is what it is. And yeah, I'll see you all next week. And if you have any recommendations, put it in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. That would be really, really helpful. And check out Drawing Tutorials online if you're looking for more of those types of drawing instructions where I'm actually drawing techniques. All right, everybody. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon, okay? Thanks for watching.